The option for long-term accommodation in Da Nang is honestly overwhelming. You can literally find stuff that is super low budget. You can find things that are super high budget, villas, apartments, 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, close to the beach, close to the center. So I understand why it might feel like you have absolutely no idea where to start. This is what today's video is going to be about. Is it cheaper to live here longer term? Is it cheaper to live here compared to the UK? And also, are you really getting more for your money? Let's find out. Okay, so before we talk about what you want in an accommodation, what area do you want to live in? What area best suits you? So starting off, right at the top, we have Sontra district. So right off the bat, you will see a lot more boutique hotels and boutique accommodations. And as you move further down the island, you will see a lot more big chain hotels. More importantly, Sontra has a lot more locals at the top than at the bottom. The more you move further down, the more touristy the area becomes. And with that, of course, the louder, the busier, and also not as calm. Specifically when talking about the beach in Sontra is much more quieter, much more tranquil, I will say. Going further down, you have My An. Now, My An is an area, not a district, but it's known as tourist area. If you come here as a tourist, this is probably predominantly where you will pick your hotel. And then also, if you come here as an expat, this is basically where all the white people are at. The streets are full of bars and restaurants that offer quite a lot of international food compared to other areas of Da Nang. Also, the beach in front of My An or near My An is a lot more busier and also a lot more bustling. In terms of rent, it's important to note that around here, the rent will be pricier, or it will come with a premium. Moving on across the bridge, you have Chau district. Chau is actually in the center of Da Nang and it has a lot more locals than foreign people. So when you stay there, rent tends to typically be a lot cheaper as well. With it being the center, it does of course also come with all of the busyness and the extra traffic. So a lot more people. Next to Chau, you have Thanh Khe, and I hope I pronounced that right. This is a more urban district of Da Nang and it is a lot more full of locals than Chau. Because it's not very strongly developed in terms of tourism, you are a lot less likely to see tourists. So if you do want to really embrace sort of the Vietnamese culture and want to live amongst the locals, this will be a great choice for you. It is also close to a beach, however this is a locals beach, so it won't really provide you with as many activities and as many touristy things that you see in Khe Beach. This does have its pros, so you can have a lot more peace and quiet, and also you don't have to, deal with the consequences of having a lot of tourists on a beach, such as the amount of mess. But in saying that, I do want to say that Khe Beach does get cleaned very often and I very rarely see rubbish. The other two I want to mention are Lien Cho and Hoa Vang. Again, forgive my pronunciation, this is how you spell them. Out of the two, Hoa Vang is constantly developing tourism sort of activity. So you've got Bana Hills, but you've also got things like camping and mountain farming and things like that. So that is definitely up and coming in terms of tourism. Finding places to rent here will be a little bit harder in terms of long term because a lot of the accommodations here at the minute are sort of hotels and short term rentals. So you found the area you want to live in. Now you have to book in some viewings. Now to do this, you can either go on Airbnb or go on Facebook groups. Ideally, before you came here, you have already joined Facebook groups, so you already know which ones to sort of look at. But I would suggest Facebook as opposed to Airbnb, just because Airbnb will sometimes add fees on top of the price and it will charge you more than you actually need to pay. So I'm just going to open up Facebook and we're just going to just search for apartments. Okay, I've already got it up, so I clearly look at it a lot. Okay, and what you're gonna do is just scroll basically. We're gonna try and find some in a few different areas for you guys so that you can get an idea of what area looks like what and what area has to offer. This one looks okay. 5.9 million. Okay, that's the lower end side. Mr. Strange is somebody who is very useful to have in your contact if you're going to come and look at properties, because he speaks really good English. So if you have a sort of like fear or awkwardness about speaking to a Vietnamese person who doesn't speak English very well, I'm sorry if you can hear our little son in the background, he's great to have just because his English is good and you won't need to deal with the awkwardness of translating. So, okay, what we're going to do is, this one looks okay, so we're just going to comment saying, can we view tomorrow, please? Morning, please. Tomorrow. Okay. Another thing to mention as well, that you do not need to do this 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. You can literally do this the next day, or sorry, the day before, or even 2 days before, and that's fine. A lot of agents actually would prefer that you do that rather than a week or 2 weeks in advance. Oh, Mr. Strange has messaged us, so let's just message back. Okay, so you can see how quick that is. So he's literally messaged me back within 2 seconds, so it's a pretty quick process. Let's view this one as well. Actually, this one looks nice. I've already commented on it, so we can view this one tomorrow as well. We'll just wait for them to get back to us and then we'll go view some properties.
Morning guys, so it's actually Friday and we got a lot of messages back overnight, so we're just on our way to see the first apartment.
Thank you. Russia. No.
To show you guys, these are the pictures that were advertised of this property online. So this happens a lot and it can be a little bit frustrating, but it looks different. In the pictures, this was a double sofa. As you can see, it's not. Also, the view is not as great as it was described in the description. As you come in, you also notice this massive sort of slab of wall missing right here, which just shows poor management of the building. As you guys can see, this one is a little bit more pricey. You're probably also paying a little bit more for the view, because look at that, we almost moved, honestly. But in places like this, what you're also really paying for is the management. It's just having somebody there to text when there's a problem. The apartment also looks super clean and exactly like the picture, which is what we loved. There was also a second version of this upstairs, which you can see the cabinets are slightly different in the kitchen, and one of the bedrooms was converted to an office, sort of like a corner office, which had amazing views. The pool wasn't as big as we expected, but it does have a cover, so it means that even during monsoon season you could probably come and still swim. The gym was okay, but also what we really liked was this sort of little green area for kids. This is the last one we are showing you guys. In our opinion, this apartment honestly had great potential, but the problem with it was we felt like it wasn't managed properly. So you'll notice when we get close to sort of the windows, some of the windows are pretty dirty, which is pretty easy to fix, especially if you have a viewing. I want to mention that this might not be an issue for everybody, but for us it's just one of our sort of things that we would like in a property is great management, because it makes a massive difference for us. The space was really big, and it did also have a pool on the rooftop. Problem with this is you have to think about the sun because it's not covered.
So you viewed your property and now you might be thinking, what next? Well, this is the fun part, because most landlords and lettings agents will be willing to negotiate on the cost. Normally, you'll be able to get a lower cost just by asking the question, and you'll be able to get an even lower cost if you're willing to commit to a longer rental period. And don't worry about cultural concerns with doing this, because this is very normal in Vietnamese culture. So they'll be expecting you to ask the question. Now, although Edwina did say, and this is true, that it is the easier option to go via the Facebook groups and the agents, if you see a property that you like, there's no harm in walking in and asking the question directly. As you'll probably know, some agents do charge a commission, so going direct might guarantee you a lower cost. And don't forget, unlike most Western countries, there are no reference checks. So all that you need to be able to prove or show is that you can pay the first month and the holding deposit. If you are in a rush, all of the above things can be agreed within one day. And if the apartment's available and already clean, then you should be able to also move in the same day. So you sign the contract, get your keys, and you'll be in by 7 p.m. And this has happened to us for the last 2 properties that we've rented here.
Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we hope that you got some useful information from this. We would love it if you could comment below any sort of experience that you've had with renting in Da Nang, or if you're coming, any other questions that you guys have, we'd be happy to answer. We thought we'd leave you with a few tips from our own personal experience that might come in handy. Number 1, management of a building is key. They make sure that everything is okay, and if you need somebody at any point, you have somebody there that will understand you and will cater to your needs.
Number 2 would be the Wi-Fi. So just check the Wi-Fi before you come and stay. Make sure it's stable enough. Do a speed test.
Number 3, geckos are friendlies. Even though they look scary, they will not bother you at all. End of the day, you probably won't even see them.
And they eat cockroaches.
They eat your cockroaches, guys, or any of the insects. So, you know, just be friendly. Just be nice. You might hear them. Leave them alone.
Number 4, so just check for molds. So have a look on exterior facing walls. Check for signs of mold painted over. It's just something to be aware of.
Yeah, from experience, check for your mold.
Yeah.
Lastly, if you're coming here, whether you're staying long term or short term, you need to book yourself a hotel. Please use our booking.com link down in the description box, because it helps us and we can carry on making videos for you guys. So, peace. See you guys.